Welcome to week 2 of Rewild Your Womb. So in this video we're going to be looking at crossover days, which are the days where we move from one season to another. As we explored in the call last night, there are these seasonal times that we go throughout the menstrual month where we inhabit different forms of energy and in which we interact with our world in very different ways. But then there are the transitional times where we're moving from one season to another. And if you remember in the first week we looked at these kind of poles, the two poles we move between throughout the month, from the north pole of our menstruation time and deepest winter to the height of summer at ovulation. And we're always moving between these two poles. And the spring and the autumn are the transitional seasons where we are a little bit less landed in one place. The energy is potentially more unstable. And crossover days are an amplification of this. They're even more potentially unstable. They're times where we can really feel that we don't quite know what we need or exactly what's going on in our psyche. And it's a really important time to be aware of. And you can start to notice when these days are for you as you look at your menstrual cycle awareness notes, even now, going back through what you've already logged and having a look at, were there any days where you felt a bit wobbly and uncertain of yourself and just different? So I'll give you some examples of crossover days, and these are just examples from my own experience and women that I've heard from or worked with, and yours might be very different. So for example, moving from summer to autumn, that's often a tricky transition for women where they suddenly find their energy levels plummeting, suddenly feel like the need to withdraw and be less with people or less busy. But life is meanwhile continuing at the same pace, and there isn't necessarily the possibility to do that. So this can manifest in some irritability because it's like my outside world is not matching how my inner world has just suddenly shifted. And and if you're not aware of this day, you can potentially fall into a pit of self-criticism or even lashing out at others around you. But if you know, okay, I'm moving over into autumn now, and this is a time where I need to be really tender with myself and also communicate to those close to me that that's what's going on, if that's possible for you. And it can really make things easier if you're able to do that. And another typically challenging transition or crossover day is from winter to spring, where you might have been quite close within yourself and still and quiet and resting, and suddenly the energy starts to rise and you're changing currents from via negativa to via positiva, coming back out into the world, your energy rising again. And this can sometimes feel quite uncomfortable. For many women who have trauma in their background, it can even be quite triggering because the rise in energy can open up the spaces in our body where we have experienced trauma. So it's again a time to be really tender and take extra care of yourself. And by this I mean whatever self-care practices you already have in your life, to increase them and give yourself just that 1% more. So if you feel to share on the Facebook group about any crossover days that you've noticed, either just in your experience or from looking back at your menstrual cycle awareness notes, I would love to hear them. And feel free to explore this more in the group. I'll see you in the next video.